Hello everyone, welcome to Res Snapper. My name's MJ and this is another leaks video. We have got an absolutely insane number of new and updated cards to look at in this video. We've got the Prehistoric Avengers season and then the What If season and some crazy cards amongst all of these. Massive shout out and thank you to Snap.fan for the leaks and the data mining, and also I used an X account called Snap Daily Bugle as well, and you'll see a combination of the assets from those. So let's have a look at Agamotto first. He's the season pass card for the upcoming Prehistoric Avengers season, and hopefully these all updated abilities are now accurate and this looks really cool. So Agamotto is a 5/10 game start, shuffle 4 Ancient Arcana into your deck. And let's have a look at the Ancient Arcana. So the first one is a 1/0. On reveal, give Agamotto +3 power. Put him into your hand if he's not in play. And banish this. So we got a new keyword here, which is extremely interesting. So this is some sort of new type of removal in the game. Banish. I would guess it just basically disappears from the field, disappears from the game. Maybe there may be future mechanics in the game where banished cards are interactable in the same way that destroyed cards are interactable, discarded cards are interactable, but maybe banish is this new keyword where they're completely not interactable. A little bit like in Magic, how cards can be removed from the game. Anyway, this card gives Agamotto +3 power and puts him into your hand, so basically draws him. I think this spell is incredible. If you haven't drawn Agamotto, it's a way to cycle through, so like a little bit of a flavour of Thanos there from some perspective. And of course changing your 5/10, which is, you know, solid, into a 5/13, that's really good. Now you are spending the energy to do that, so if you're getting the draw out of it, it's really worth it. Otherwise probably slightly less so, but it's still a lot of power that you can play on the final turn. Let's look at the next Arcana. It's Winds of Watum. It's a 2/0. On reveal, I've put on reveal twice in this slide, apologies. Afflict an enemy card here with -5 power and move it right. Banish this. So this is basically like a 2/5, so that's really good unless you got Luke Cage or whatever. And you're causing move disruption as well. So now we start thinking, okay, is there a potential possibility of this card in a move disruption deck? Seems cool. Then the next one is Bolts of Balthark. This is on reveal. Next turn you get +4 energy. Banish this. I've given this 3.5 stars. I'm not 100% sure on this one, because if you think about it right, +4 energy next turn, okay, that's insane. But this does cost 3. So it's actually just next turn you get +1 energy, sort of neutral cost. And I'm not totally sure on this, because remember guys, you are pumping all of these spells into your deck, or Arcana I should say, into your deck. And so it's decreasing the value of your draw a little bit, but you are getting these potentially instead of cards in your deck. So it's an interesting one. But the +4 power, I mean, if you play this on the 5th turn, on turn 6 you have 10 energy. So that allows you to do sort of surprise things. So it is interesting, it is good. I'm just not 100% sure on this specific one just yet. Anyway, the final Arcana is Images of Icon. It's a 4/0. On reveal, transform your other cards here into copies of the highest power one and banish this. So this is very interesting. So because you have to play it at a location, it means you can have 3 other cards there, which means your highest power one is replacing the 2 others. That's if you've got a full location. Very interesting. It could be a potentially really strong final turn play, especially if you think about it. If you've got maybe like some sort of lockdown deck, or you've won the other locations or whatever, and then you've got your 5/13, what's his name, Agamotto at this location, you can literally like create 26 power. Your other stuff there could be just some random 1-cost cards or whatever. So very interesting. Very interesting. I've given it a 3.5 because I'm not 100% sure. Because it's kind of like a Cersei, but it's obviously a Cersei on steroids. I don't know, but overall, Agamotto, I would give him 4 stars. He is a season pass card. I think he's extremely interesting, but there's so much to unpack here. And so with only limited time for me to have made these slides in this video, I haven't had much time to absorb and think about that yet. But it is very interesting. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Right, now let's move on to the rest of the cards that have been updated. Eson. Oh my god, my boy Eson. They've killed him. He's now a 6/9 After each turn, put a card from your hand that didn't start in your deck here. So it's a 6/9 and it's got an ability which happens each turn, which is saying you want to ramp it out. How do you ramp it out? Obviously Arishem. It works well with Arishem. Not surprising to see Celestials working well together. Also interesting to see that he has lost the legendary tag. A lot of people were speculating that the new legendary keyword was going to be maybe like 1 legendary per deck. He hasn't got that anymore. I'm not so sure on him. I mean, inside Arishem, sure, he's like unpredictable, potentially brings a lot of power. Fine, that's good. I don't know. There's probably other uses for him. I mean, actually, Nick Fury, he's kind of interesting with Nick Fury, isn't he? I wonder if he's a bit of a shield card. Like, we've just seen Victoria Hand, and like, sort of, she works so well with your low-level shield stuff. Maria Hill, Kate Bishop, and all of the lower-costed generated cards. I wonder if Eson is going to work well with higher-costed generated cards. So maybe via your Coulson, maybe via your Nick Fury, and you play Devil Dinosaur. Is it a Devil Dinosaur card? Could be interesting. I've given him 3.5 stars for now, though. I'm not 100% sure. Moving on to Starbrand. Again, this power has completely changed from the previous data mines. This is very exciting. He's now a 3/10. Ongoing, your opponent has +3 power at each other location. So he's giving your opponent +6. So he's kind of a 3/3. But obviously, he's not a 3/3 because he's doing so much more. So first of all, this is a Sauron card. Awesome to see some more Sauron support. It's actually a bloody powerful Sauron card at that. If you can Enchantress this on the final turn, that's a huge swing in power that your opponent may not necessarily be expecting. So yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff with this card. Obviously works with Surtur as well. It's like the cheapest 10 power card in the game, apart from like Zabu shenanigans. Yeah. Very interesting indeed. I think this is a much more interesting design than his previous one. Also works with Thaddeus Ross as well. It's interesting. I've given him 4 stars. Are we going to enter a 0 meta? Because there's another potential 0 card as well. Is it, you know, the card 0, who removes the abilities from the next card you play? Quite possibly. Starbrand seems really good. Firehair. I love this change. Previously she was like doing moving revival shenanigans. Now she's a 2/3. When one of your cards is destroyed, this uses that card's on reveal. This is sick. This is like, okay, yeah, cool, it's kind of a destroy card, but actually there's so much more opportunity for it outside of destroy. Maybe you just start flexing in a Carnage and a Venom into random decks, and you can create these really powerful, or I should say duplicate these powerful on-reveal effects, like Ironheart. She is 0 power, so you're just getting that extra power for free. Maybe you want to destroy her, and then you can bring it back with Phoenix Force even. So my mind has, like I said, I have barely had time to absorb this information. I'm so excited, but Firehair seems sick. I'm going to have to completely change my plans and make sure that I'm picking up the cards that I want to pick up. On that note, actually, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I will be having a Spotlight cash planning video some point in the near future. Right, Khonshu. Khonshu has got 3 versions, okay? So he starts off as a 6/5. When discarded, return in its next phase. Oh god, sorry, I'm going to try that again. He's a 6/5. When discarded, return in its next phase. On reveal, resurrect a card you discarded to another location with its power set to 5. So when I say return in its next phase, I think what that means is it just returns to your hand, but it's in a different version of the card. And the middle version of this card, I haven't got it pictured, is a 7 power card, and the ability does 7. So it cycles from 5 to 7 to 12. The ability is the same every time. On reveal, resurrect a card you discarded to another location with its power set to 5. So there's lots of... I know this card is quite complicated, but basically, when you discard it, it returns to your hand in a stronger version of itself. First of all at 7, and then at 12. And its ability updates each time as well, so it's basically reviving a card that another card that you've discarded at another location, and with the basically copying Khonshu's power. This is mad. Like, this is mad. And if you can discard Khonshu a few times, like via Sif or Blade or whatever it be, especially doing that in the same turn, you should be able to Sif and then Blade, and that gives you the maxed out Khonshu. Yes, it's reviving a random card, but it doesn't really matter what that is because its power is being set to 12 anyway, or even in its lowest form. You could just play this if you didn't even discard it, and you're reviving something at 5, so it's kind of a 6/10, like at bare minimum. Extremely interesting card. Seems so powerful. I mean, imagine with Silver Samurai, the other card you've discarded is Iron Man. This is going to be creating extremely interesting discard decks, and I can't wait. Seems so cool. Right, now moving on to a card that is in the Prehistoric Avengers season, but we don't know how this one is available. There's actually a couple that we don't know how they're available. This first one is the first Ghostrider. He's a 2/6. On reveal, discard the lowest power card from your hand. Remove that card's power from this. So if you discard a Scorn, for example, you're getting rid of the 2. So this comes down to a 2/4, but then actually Scorn gives you the +2 anyway. This seems really solid to me. I've given it 4 stars. Not 100% sure where or how it fits into discard, but maybe it's something that you play instead of Colleen Wing or alongside Colleen Wing. Maybe we're starting to get enough cards here that discard lower costed cards that we start having this small discards deck. Could be interesting. Yeah, the brews are going to be really cool with this one. But yeah, this just seems really good. I mean, knocking off 2 power and this becoming a 2/4 just isn't even bad anyway. If you are playing that in a normal deck, then you're losing a resource, of course. But I don't know. There's plenty of opportunity here. Maybe this will be a high voltage card or a Deadpool's Diner card, or yeah, don't know. It is the next season, so it's not going to be a Sanctum Showdown card, or at least it's unlikely to be the new game mode Sanctum Showdown. Anyway, moving on to the final potential card in the Prehistoric Avengers season, although we don't even have the artwork for this, so maybe this will be held for a future Sanctum Showdown, just as a guess. But it's a 4/7, it's Fanfei. 4/7, activate, move your other cards here away. This seems outrageous. I've given her 4.5 stars. Seems crazy. Seems absolutely crazy. Like, so strong. Being able to control this. Slot other cards on top of it, even just activating it on turn 5, at the end of turn 5, or in the middle of your turn 5. You can literally play this down on 4. You could play Human Torch and Vulture and then activate this, and you're getting so much value, so much movement ability from just this one card. Seems so good. Of course, we do know that activate cards can generally be difficult if played or if drawn towards the end of the game. Obviously, if you draw this on turn 6 or play it on turn 6, you're not getting the activate at all. But it still seems really strong and definitely a great tool for move decks. Right, now we move on to the... oh God, I'm so excited for this season. The What If season. Now, I have put on screen here that this is the season pass. I don't know. I'm just presuming Captain Carter is the mascot of What If. She's the main character in the TV show. So I'd be stunned if this isn't the season pass card. And there's a couple of cards where we have got a brand new mechanic in a front row and back row ability. So we're now introducing some proper placement card. If I'm running out of steam here, guys, you know what I'm talking about. Front row and back row. Fine. Anyway, let's just read out what she does. She's a 4/2 ongoing. Your other cards in the back row here gain this card's power. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but if Captain America is at the same location as Captain Carter, she's going to be on 4, which means all the cards in the back row are going to be on +4. So let's just say you have a full location, because this is when Captain Carter is going to work best. You have a full location, you're not doing any other shenanigans. It means that you're gaining +4, so she's a 4/6. Not that exciting, not that interesting. But then we think about the fact that she's an ongoing, the other potential synergies she's going to have. I'd be absolutely stunned if she doesn't work with Captain America's shield. I know she's sort of like Captain Britain. She's like British. I am British, I think I'd know. But I'm sure the shield will work with her. She's also an ongoing as well, so she works alongside Sam Wilson and original Captain America as well. I'm sure they'll all work well together. yeah, if you can bump up her power, she gets crazy. Like, even if, like, just by 1, by 2, you start replicating this effect and triplicating that power, almost a bit like a Brood. I think she's really good. I've only given her 4 stars here. I honestly, that score could go up. I also love the artwork as well. Love the character. Love everything about this. Absolutely love this. I think it's sick. And I'm really looking forward to playing with her. Guys, there's so many cards that I've forgotten one. I've obviously stopped recording and then realised that I forgot one. This is DumDum Dugan. He's a 2/2. Ongoing, your cards in the front row here have +1 power. This is pretty much the only card in this entire video where I'm not totally convinced on it. Ongoing, your cards in the front row here have +1 power, so you need to have a full location to get the most out of him, or at least, sorry, you need to have 3 or 4 cards. Or basically you need to have 2 cards at the location already in order to benefit from DumDum Dugan at all. I guess he actually would target himself, so you need one other. And then he becomes a 2/4. I don't know, I've given him 2.5. Is he better than that? A 2/4 is good. You can duplicate him with Moonstone. I don't know, maybe he's a 3. I don't know, I'm not 100% sold on DumDum Dugan. But I do think it's interesting, the interaction with Captain Carter, of course. They've got the front and the back covered. So, interesting card. Next up, we have got Kahhori. Now, we don't know what order the rest of these cards are in, so I've just put question mark, question mark. We don't know what series they are. We don't know if they're coming in spotlights or whatever. But Kahhori is a 4/6. On reveal, for each card in your hand, give a friendly card +1 power. So she's basically doing like a wave of +1s, depending on how much is in your hand. That could be really cool if you've got like a shield style deck. It could be really cool if you've got like Devil Dinosaur things. Very nice. I mean, consider the fact you could have maybe 4 or 5 cards in your hand. She's a 4/10, 4/11. Let's say you're doing Grandmaster shenanigans. You can, of course, do Wong shenanigans. Lots of potential opportunity here. Really nice wide board buffing. And also kind of joins the ranks of Galacta and Gwenpool as these really awesome power-giving 4/6s. So she seems solid to me. Lots of opportunity there. Next up is Strange Supreme. He's a 2/0. Give this +2 power whenever it merges. After each turn, merge one of your cards that didn't start in your deck into this. This is mad. So first of all, it's anti-clog. Like the best anti-clog card there's ever been. Suck up that Green Goblin and get +2 for doing so. I've given him 4.5 stars, as you'll see. The reason I've given him 4.5 is because, guys, how many times have we seen these extraordinarily high potential scalers at 2 cost? Thena, Morbius, to name a couple. This guy can get really big, and think about the kinds of decks he works in, and also the kind of locations he works in. There's lots of locations that generate cards these days. Bloody squirrels falling out of Central Park. I forgot the name of it. Savage Land, Avengers Mansion. Loads of locations that create cards, and decks archetypes. Thanos is going to love this, right? You get to suck up those stones and get the benefit for doing so. So you're making space and gaining power. So absolutely awesome. I think he's fantastic. And also, yeah. Give this +2 power whenever it merges. That means it just works with things like Penny Parker as well. Get the extra energy, get the ability to move, the ability to merge and gain power. It's awesome stuff, guys. Very awesome indeed. Now, next one is Hydra Stomper. He's a 3/1. Ongoing +1 power for each card you move to this game. This is really interesting. I've given him 4 stars. But actually, I mean, I do think he can reach such high amounts. I mean, think about also just move disruption and normal move. Works in both of them. In move disruption, probably slightly less good because it's a bit harder to move your opponent's cards. But in a traditional move deck with Heimdall, you know, if that Heimdall at the end of the game, you're doing, what, moving potentially 6, 7, 8 cards? Seems pretty possible. He's going up to like, what, 3/9? Not bad at all. Seems very good. And then we think about those other new cards like Fanfei, being able to move out cards, and an upcoming card we'll look at. There's definitely some opportunity for this guy. Right. This one's a complicated one, guys. Also, I've given him 4 stars because we don't 100% know everything about this guy yet. This is Infinity Ultron. He's a 5/6 on reveal. Add 2 Ultron Ultron Infinity Stones to your hand. We don't know what the Ultron Infinity Stones numbers are. We don't know their costs or their powers. I have put some placeholder images of the existing stones on screen. We don't know if they're 1/1s or if the power stone is 1/3. So please bear with me. But we do know their abilities for the most part. Space Stone. The Infinity Ultron Space Stone. On reveal, move the lowest power enemy card here to Infinity Ultron's location. I'm doing a little bit of assumption there. There's actually some like weird coding reference on that actual text. I'm just assuming that it can only be Infinity Ultron's location. So yeah, move the lowest power enemy card here to Infinity Ultron's location. So you get to ping something out. That's really powerful. And by the way, I would pretty much presume they're 1 energy cards because you're only adding 2 to your hand, so you only have limited opportunity to even play them and fill them in. So yeah, I could be wrong. Maybe they've got higher power and stuff. So yeah, actually yeah, they could bloody well could be. They could, if they're like Ultron Infinity Stones. Maybe they'll have like 2 power. Maybe they could be more powerful than that even. But yeah, this is interesting. Move disruption, cool. Time Stone on reveal, or Infinity Ultron Time Stone on reveal. Put a card from your hand here. Sucking something down. Pretty cool. Seems good. The next few. Soul Stone Infinity Ultron Edition. On reveal, for each full location you have, give a friendly card there plus 2 power. I'm not 100% sure how this one even works. For each full location you have, so say you've got 2 full locations, give a friendly card there plus 2 power. So if everywhere is full, you're giving 3 cards in each plus 2 power. Is that what it means? Seems, if that's what it is, that seems mental. But again, it depends on the cost, depends on the power. Infinity Ultron Power Stone. On reveal, double Infinity Ultron's power. That's nice. So it's doubling your power to 12. So that's cool. This one's got to be cheap though, because yeah, I'm thinking they've all got to be, because what if you low roll and you don't get the Power Stone one? And then Mind Stone. Infinity Ultron Mind Stone. Ongoing. Your on-reveal abilities here happen twice, so it's literally a wongers. Now, if Infinity Ultron is a 5-cost card, you only have the final turn to achieve this, so interesting. Imagine if you get the Mind Stone and the Power Stone. And the Infinity Ultron Reality Stone. On reveal, add a token here, we don't know what. Set its power to Infinity Ultrons. So that's really good. There's some really interesting combinations available here, isn't there? Like the Mind Stone wongy double ability-ish thing with the Power Stone. The Reality Stone and the Power Stone, or actually would play it in a different order. Power Stone first and then the Reality Stone to create a copy of the Infinity Ultron, basically. Yeah. Very cool. We don't have the full information, so I can't... I mean, I've given it 4 stars, but we don't really have a full information, so I can't really give it a proper star rating yet. But it seems like it's going to be a lot of fun. Then we've got Goliath. I'm presuming this is in the What If season, because he was in What If. I've given him 4.5 stars because he's a 2/1 ongoing plus 1 power for each other ongoing you have in play. Oh, you could easily have 6, 7 other ongoings in places. 2/8. He's a 2/8, which Moonstone also loves. Moonstone wants to hang out with Goliath. The artwork is sick. There's a flying bird there. There's 2 birds actually. Love it. I think this is really powerful, really cool. Also just a fantastic cheap card. Another cheap ongoing option at 2. I love it. Love this card. And finally, the last card, there's so many. The last card is Topaz, who I've given 5 stars. She's a 3/4. After you play a card here, move it to the middle location. So that's really cool, because obviously she works alongside Grandmaster in the movies and What If. And Grandmaster moves stuff to the middle. So she's moving stuff to the middle. But this is almost sort of what Hercules should have been in a way. So powerful. this ongoing ability to automatically move your cards. Think about Madam Web. We love how Madam Web can move stuff. We're in control of that. Topaz has the control of you knowing where the card is going to go, but she's slamming them through over and over. So it's a perennial effect that you can use over and over. That's so strong. And then you've got a clear location anyway. We can bounce them back. Scary good. I've given her 5 stars. That is it. Thank you very much for watching, guys. What do you think of these cards? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.